time that we do our community moments, and today I'm very excited to be to do the introduction for this lovely young lady, Maureen Kennedy. I met Maureen, gosh, maybe a year and a half ago, I want to say. This was before Oasis even started, and Helen had told me about this Northland Freethinkers group. Well, I live all the way out in the Southland. What do I want to do with Northland people, you know? Can't find anything out south, so I actually went up to an event at the library. Helen and Larry weren't there, so I was all by myself, but I met all sorts of wonderful people, including Maureen, and she really, really left a lasting impression on me, and I've just been so, I'd say blessed, but that doesn't work in this crowd. I've been so lucky to get to know Maureen over the last year. Maureen, I went to your Facebook page, so I got a little bit of details on it. Hopefully it's correct. He said his website's wrong, so I don't know. But she's now retired, former counselor at Metropolitan Community College. I know she lives in Independence, and she loves yoga. She's always doing yoga and keeps in shape. I asked her for a warning label, and she told me, essentially, watch out, she has a temper, which I cannot see whatsoever, but surely everybody can get that way sometimes. 3 words to describe her: friendly, empathetic, and serene, which is interesting since she just said she had a temper. So please help me welcome Serene Maureen.
What happened to the meet and greet?
We're going to do that later.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought I had a little bit more time. I do get nervous. I want you to know that I do get nervous before I give talks. This is such a wonderful, loving group that that's what I've been telling myself. I do have this sign on my refrigerator that it's a picture of a Ferris wheel, and it says, "She was scared silly, but she kept buying tickets." And so I'm scared a lot, but I just keep buying tickets. I was born into, I'm just going to tell you my story. I was born into an Irish Catholic, large Catholic family. I grew up in St. Louis. There were 6 girls and 1 boy in our family. And my parents moved into the home that I grew up in just right before I was born. My brother still lives in the home. And it was a half a block from the Catholic church and the Catholic school. My parents really weren't traditional at all. They were very different. My mom was the one who got the degree, not my dad. And my mother was very bright. And she went to college and she majored in Latin and minored in mathematics. I think she really wanted to major in math, but they didn't have that at the college that she attended, the women's college that she attended. My dad didn't go to college. He left school in the 8th grade to take care of his parents. But that was the kind of household that I grew up in. Education was very important. They read all the time. If they ever read a Bible, I never saw them. I couldn't even visualize the Bible when I started thinking about this. I can visualize the collection of Shakespearean plays. I can visualize all sorts of other classics, and those are the kinds of things that my parents read, and they quoted to us all the time. That's the kind of atmosphere that we grew up in. We went to that Catholic grade school, of course, and then I, with my sisters, went on to a Catholic high school, a Catholic girls' high school. And when I was a sophomore in high school, my dad collapsed in the backyard and died. It was a terrible day. I ran down to get the priest. Of course, if you're Catholic, were raised Catholic, you know that they really believe in the last rites, and you go and I ran down to get the priest, and he wouldn't come. And I was 15 at the time. I got pissed. I yelled at the priest. Eventually he came up, but it really taught me something about paying more attention to what it is that people do rather than what they say. That people will tell you all sorts of things and they'll preach to you, and so I did learn that day. It was not the way I wanted to learn it, but I did learn that. And so I try to pay more attention to people's behavior than to what they say they believe. I went on to college. I went to a women's college, Catholic women's college. But it actually was a very wonderful experience. It was the 60s, those of us that remember the 60s. It was a very nice time. And I majored in mathematics. The college by that time did have math as the major, and so I majored in math. So, I come by being a feminist honestly. I had a bright mother, and she knew math, and I was good at math. So when people told me that women couldn't do anything, or couldn't do certain things, especially mathematically, I knew they were not correct. That was not right. It also was a time of really looking at things, and we studied philosophers, and it really, St. Joe nuns, any of you know anything about the St. Joe nuns, they're pretty formidable, and they, lots of very, very intelligent and wonderful women, very strong women. At that time, and as it now, the Catholic Church really had a problem. They didn't have enough priests. I looked at the situation and said, well, if you just ordain the women, of course. I mean, there's your answer right there. Why not ordain women? And they didn't. And so consequently, I left. It really wasn't because of that. Maybe that's ideology, maybe not, but I just felt like I couldn't be part of an organization that was so stupid. How stupid. And so inefficient, and so I left. I worked for a while. I went to grad school. I got married. We moved to Kansas City. We got divorced. I went to work at Penn Valley for 30 years and retired in 2010. Save your pennies, everybody. Retirement is wonderful. It's the best thing. About 3 years ago, I met Daryl Ray and read God Virus and Sex and God, and met many of you at KCAC and Polyamorous Families, and I feel like my world just expanded. It's just been amazing for me. Yes, I'm retired, so it makes it easier, but also I feel like it's a time of real growth and learning for me. About a year ago, around the same time that Oasis was being formed, I went to a class on Buddhism at the Temple Buddhist Center down at Unity Temple on the Plaza. I fell in love. I love Buddhism. I just love it. And I just think it's so wonderful. It really fits the kinds of things that I really believe. It really is much more about behavior than it is about belief. Very similar to Oasis, I think, about people, not belief. And it helps me. I want to be that serene Maureen. That's really my goal. I really wish I really try to practice loving kindness. That's a Buddhist belief, and I still work at it. And even though I'm in my 60s, I still feel like there are things I have to learn and things that I am trying to be better at, and that's one of them. I do have a very bad temper. I'm Irish, of course I have a bad temper. But I do work on that, and I really try to stay in this sort of place of serenity. I don't consider myself an atheist. I don't call myself that. I think I don't know what I am. I'm kind of an agnostic, I guess, or I'm kind of skeptical. I think I'm a humanist, Julie. I'm a humanist. And I'm still a learner. I'm still trying to learn a bunch of things. I guess the big thing I would say to you is that I just thank you all for being so warm and friendly to me. I mean, everybody has just taken me in, and I think that's really wonderful. I consider you part of my family. That's what Stacy said last week. You are my people. I think the Buddhist people are too. They are part of my Sangha. But I consider you just a wonderful part of my life, and I really thank you for that.